Hello, hello, welcome. Sorry for that delay. I was just making sure we are streaming live on YouTube and um, to be recorded for our Facebook group later. But I would like to begin by just lighting a fire here and setting us into sacred space. So, welcoming in Grandfather Fire and thanking him for the energy of the fire, of passion, of creativity, the fuel that lights us, the spark of creation. My name is Cynthia, and I would like to introduce myself. I am a shamanic practitioner. I am an ordained priestess. I am a Akashic woman guide. I am a registered nurse. And I have been on this path developing my psychic gifts through a variety of different ways. And in this last year, I have really taken a really big deep dive into the unknown. And in the last, I guess I would say the last year and a half, I absolutely followed my heart and my intuition to really leave everything that was comfortable to me. And I've been on quite a journey of an initiation of what I now realize was an initiation of becoming the beast. I would say the last three eclipses, starting with the Ring of Fire eclipse, was one of the main portals that acted as a catalyst to this transformation that I have been undergoing. And through traveling to rekindle my relationship with my immediate blood family, which has been amazing. And that's a lot of the ancestral work that I do, as ancestral healing is a big part of my medicine and has been a tremendous part of my path, which I have shown and seen tremendous results in with my relationship with my own blood family. And then through travel nursing through the New England area. And in that time, and then through the process of like moving every 3 months and each time I moved, I my spirit guides would change, my reason that I was there would change, and so many soul retrievals were happening. And when I landed myself in Vermont, my dream was to always have a cabin in the woods. But however, when I arrived at this cabin at this woods, it was horror that came over me. And at that time, and really knowing to go into those emotions instead of away from the emotions, I would go out on a nightly meditation where I had this stream and there was a brook, and it was like where the wild things were. Every day there was this monstrous aspect of myself that I would meet and welcome and bring in and work with. And a whole bunch of different things started alchemizing and moving within me as I started welcoming all these parts of me back home. And when I have now arrived in the DC, Maryland area, and with my biggest prayer to call in community and soul tribe and collaborators, I am now amongst the most loving, wonderful group of humans I have ever met, including my team that I'm working with the Beast. And so I'd love to introduce you to Victor. He is going to be building a 13-foot sculpture of this glass piece with all these shards coming in that really represent all of these aspects, all of these soul parts that are coming back into you. So representing your ego. That's why it's called the beast. And when I heard him talk and when he was talking about his vision for the beast, it was surreal because he was literally speaking towards what I had been going through. And in real time, like within my own body. And it was so amazing to hear these words and these lessons spoken by someone else that who understood, but also shared the same vision. And immediately this program for the beast downloaded within me. And so during each one of these eclipse seasons, I up into this last one that happened in April, um, this last one in April came with such sudden change and it's such an intensity that all my emotions, like there was just nowhere else for me to hide. And coming into a big move for me where I was actually going through and finalizing a divorce and really moving forward in a new direction, like all the symbology of like having a closet, like and hiding under the bed and where the monsters and full exposure, like my vulnerability was at an all-time high. I felt like all of my shadow aspects were just out in the open for everybody in the community to see. And even from myself, there was nowhere else to hide. I was at a climatic moment in my life where internally I really was forced to face my what was I forced to face? Like I mean, my shadow, really, but it was the parts of me that was sabotaging myself and pushing away love and just not really my authentic self because that's where I was really learning that anything outside of love isn't real. And while we hear that quote, it's a different thing to like really feel it. And so I was given lots of tests and initiations into my own self-love. And in doing so, I remember this last eclipse portal and the intensity of all my emotions coming up into the surface and of all of the vulnerability. That I literally was like, oh my gosh, we're creating a monster because I have already been on such a journey that I know that everything that happens for me, not to me. And that these are lessons and tests that are only going to make me stronger and initiate me into further growth. And that is my belief system. And so if you are here watching this and witnessing this, I hope you are on the same page with me and have that same belief. And that belief is what really has carried me forward into such a massive transformation. And so, in this next 3 days, I am going to take us on a journey through the mind, body, and spirit, where we're going to be using the different tools that I use and that are going to be incorporated into this 9 month initiation, if you choose to embark on that with me, of becoming the beast. And so these tools that I use and so many more are still going to come forth because I've been cultivating all sorts of gifts that have really woven in a beautiful way for this program creation and um, they're going to be revealed in each one of these 3 days. So today we're going to be entering the mind and we're going to be using the Akashic Records. So I am an Akashic Record wisdom keeper, which means that I've been um, initiated through the main program was the Flower of Life certification program with Tara Preston. Although there have been other Akashic Record mentors that I have had, this is the one that has really been the one that has grounded me the most that I will be tapping into today. And the Akashic Records is a database with all the information of everything that we have done from the point of creation. And so this is a group call. And so in these group calls, when I access the records, I'm going to be channeling through some wisdom that is going to apply for everybody in the group. But when it comes to the portion where I am coming up with individual stories, take what resonates and use your own intuition and your own gift to recognize how this story applies to you. Because when I enter the records, not only will I be channeling through wisdom for you that will be coming through a high level of consciousness where only love and light exist and truth can be held. And I will then be accessing different stories that may or may be a little bit different for everybody, but the root of it is going to be the same. And so for today's intention, we're going to be accessing our mind and receiving mental clarity. In tomorrow's session, we're going to be accessing the body through our body's intelligence, and I'm going to be using a different technique. I'm going to be using my shamanic gifts as a shamanic practitioner, which is a different way of journeying. And so I will explain more of that tomorrow in tomorrow's session. And then the last day, we're going to be going into our spirit, and that is going to be accessed through my priestess training, where I have been through a series of mystery school trainings and have reactivated my gifts as a high priestess, where mostly with the Celtic and Egyptian lineages, and also with Mary Magdalene, Sekhmet, Morgan Le Fay, just to name a few. So those are going to be three very different techniques that are going to be all braided together. And what I love about that is it does bring the symbology of even why I cut my hair, which has been a little bit over a year, but really to anchor in this energy of rebirth. I was inspired by my ancestors when I went to my ancestors' grave in prayer, and the instructions that I was given was to take my hair and put it in a pony to put it in a ponytail, like, and braid it like sweetgrass and chop it off. And in Native American tradition, your hair is your antenna, and when you cut your hair, it is done upon death or upon grieving. And so this was very much an offering that I had given as I was dancing with the Native Americans with this big prayer of this rebirth and embodying more of all of me. And so when they were showing me the three weaves, I thought that was amazing because it really is like the sweetgrass. And so, again, to just say with these three gifts that will be shared as this program goes on is going to be as an Akashic wisdom keeper, as a shamanic practitioner, and as a high priestess. And so, becoming the beast. This is about a journey into wholeness, and it's been broken up into three compartments: mind, body, and spirit. In the mind, we are going to be clearing out war consciousness, and this is the focus for today. I would say it's been the last year to 2 years that has been very much my journey, is where have I been in war with myself, right? Where is the mind and the heart battling? Where is that conflict happening? And just the mental brainwashing and the influence and all the outside clutter that comes into our mental body is literally one of the easiest to hijack. And so learning how to speak to myself in a more positive way. I've had a spirit guide come in, and um, every time that I would have a negative thought towards myself or towards a situation, I would find that instead of going into that thought, I was say, I love you, Cindy. And I even started saying this out loud. And it was an interesting thing because I actually started catching how negatively I had been talking to myself and how much impact that actually had on my self worth, on my self esteem, on how I was showing up in the world, how I was stunting my own growth with those patterns. And so that is the first invitation that I will bring forward is to really become aware in your mental body how you're speaking to yourself and how you're speaking to those that you love around you. And if you find yourself talking to yourself negatively, find that reroute that is like, I love you with your name, and say it as many times as you want, and invite invite your team of support to intervene if that feels good for you, if that is something you want assistance with, because we do have free will here on earth, but we do have a lot of angelic support that is ready and willing to help us with this battle, right? And this really is a battle of the minds, the battle of, you know, this war. And as we clear this war consciousness from our own bodies, we are literally elevating all of the consciousness here on earth. And it is literally the most radical, most rebellious thing that you can do right now, is to really hone in on that self-love in yourself, and end that war within by clearing out the clutter, and then, instead of battling these different aspects of yourself, let them work and communicate with each other. What that has looked like for me is I've had different archetypes and different like animals that have come in that have represented my different personalities. So, like the spitting king cobra has met the brown recluse. So that what did that look like for me in real life? Well, a brown recluse knows that it's venomous, but instead of acting upon that, it retreats and hides. And that is how I had been. I knew I was strong and powerful. But that didn't get me very far all the time. It did get me, it has been hard to find my community and my tribe. And there have been many things that I have left behind and just retreated instead of like stayed, causing a lot of abandoned wounds that have been healing within me. But then compare that retreating energy with the spitting king cobra, which I met in my time in the rainforest of Borneo. That is literally the most aggressive snake ever. Most snakes retreat with humans, but the spitting king cobra actually spits venom, and it'll actually actively pursue anybody in its way. It'll chase, hunt, and spit, especially if it is protecting its eggs and its loved ones. It's like the fiercest mother love ever. So then I was embodying that energy with balance with the brown recluse. So I wasn't chasing and spitting, but I was finding that middle ground between those two. I was also not retreating anymore. I wasn't backing away. I was standing my ground. I'm not leaving, I'm staying. And between working with those two together, it has made this balanced approach of balance that has ended that war. This is just one example, but I have many. So we've got about 35 minutes left. And so I want to now take this time, now that I've kind of given you a chance to get to know me and my journey and my embodiment journey of the beast within, and now really go into the Akashic Records, where we're going to now do a mental cleanse and clear on you. So I invite you to put your hand over your heart if that feels good to you. And we're just going to take 3 nice deep breaths. We're going to breathe in for the count of 5, pause for the count of 5, and then exhale for the count of 5. So if this feels good for you, you're welcome to join along. And deep inhale in Just connecting to the pure, radiating, positive potential of divine light within you. Pausing at the top. And deep exhale. Releasing anything in the mental body that no longer serves you. Allowing yourself to be fully present in the here and now. Another deep inhale in. Pausing. And release. And with this last inhale, really breathing in mana from the earth. Pausing at the top. And deep exhale out. Now just allow your body weight to drop and drop, open and expand until you feel fully held by Mother Earth. We're going to now bring a rose quartz light to the heart chakra center, located at the center of your chest. And we're going to allow this rose quartz light to begin to wash, swish, swirl, releasing, clearing, nourishing, and opening your heart chakra center. We're going to see a gold door about 50 feet above your head. From there, we're going to visualize gold, pink, and sparkly white light cascading down, entering in through the top of your head, filling you up from the tips of your toes into your whole body. We're going to see this gold grid, feel the energetic womb space swishing and swirling. We're going to now take this gold light down through the core of your body, down through your womb space or energetical womb space if you are a male, down to the core of the Mother Earth. We're going to attach this gold light that has dropped down to a piece of pink rose quartz. And we're just going to bathe here in the essence of the core and the crystalline essence of Mother Gaia. And now we're going to bring that earth energy back through all layers of earth, crust, soil, root, and rock, back through the bottoms of our feet and back into our womb space. I now request that the temples of divine love, light, truth, abundance, wisdom, and divine power to descend around me now. I call upon my guides, teachers, masters, Akashic guardians, angels, and the goddess to be present with me here now. I ask the creator of all beings to create a protective space of 100% light of love around me, banishing all negative influences should there be any. I ask that this is a divinely protected space where only the highest frequencies of love and light shall pass in and out of. Now, from the center of the heart chakra, see a pink rosebud begin to bud and furl open. From this place, allow the golden grid flower of life to expand and swirl from the heart space located at the center of your chest. And let the pure wisdom and high frequency of light and radiant divine substance of all creation that is interwoven into all life begin to permeate and infuse itself within you, out of you, and all around you into the Akasha field. Let this light continue to grow, expand, and interpermeate with the physical and non-physical reality that exists before you, all around you, and within you. Let this radiant divine substance of all life that flows through all things continue to flower and expand through your heart chakra, merging with the infinite wisdom of the Akashic field. Then, feeling, seen, and sensing now as the doors of the Akasha and all of the wisdom and love of the Akasha open to you. Let the doors of your awareness open and receive the light, wisdom, and love of the Akasha. And feel and sense the energy coming down and around you, holding you in the sacred energy of this field. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is. And asking these records to be open for everybody watching and watching this replay. Okay. So at this point, I'm going to tune in and receive messages from the Akasha field. And so the first thing that I am seeing is just a field of purple. And purple is the color of the crown chakra. And I'm just seeing and visualizing our minds opening up and expanding. So I really invite you, especially if the Akashic Records is a foreign concept to you, and if you can't understand with your mental body, if this is outside your norm, I invite you to open your mind to experience something that has yet to be known from you. And so tuning in to this purple frequency to help open and expand your mental space. And I'm also a medium and an energy worker. And so right now there is a lot of clearing energetically that is going from the heart through the throat chakra into the mental body. So so you may be feeling some sensations in your body and just breathing through any discomfort if you are having any discomfort. And if you're not having any discomfort, that's a beautiful thing. So as I tune into the field, I am seeing an older man, and he is working on creating a puppet. And he's hard at work, just chipping away, and he is creating. It's very much giving off the Giuseppe and Pinocchio vibes, and he's just hard at work chipping away. And so I'm going to tune in and see what message that he has for us. And it's interesting because he's not looking at me. He's actually really hard at his work, and I'm the way that I'm viewing this is I'm on the outside of the room and just like kind of looking in. And the message that I'm receiving from him is an example of his zen, his mental clarity. He's embodying a creative flow where he's like free of any distractions and outside noise and is just fully aligned with his imagination and his creations. And what I love about this is because in the first 3 months of the journey, what I was seeing is that as we are going to be clearing out limited beliefs and some blockages going on within our mental body, that in the end we are going to be accessing our imagination from a more pure sense. And so this guide is coming forth in the Akashic Records today as a Giuseppe, so you could really visualize it, of what that looks like to actually be free of any mental noise and being in a full flow state where you are co-creating with source and with what you are now going to be able to bring through from your imagination as a co-creator, instead of following directions, instead of um even knowing what you're doing before, it's this access of pure source creation. And so the invitation is that everybody watching this today has had experienced this flow state beyond your comprehension. And so I'm just going to give just about 30 seconds to a minute to tune in to a memory that you have of yourself where you were free of outside distractions and you were just in your own creative zone and you were creating and birthing something. And what was that? Beautiful. And if nothing came to you in this now moment, often in these spaces, it might clear the space for you to receive these messages in the outside world later. And so don't worry or fret if you did not get anything now. Trust that this will come to you at the exact right moment, and you'll recognize when you receive that of the magic. And this remembrance in a time that's going to be most beneficial to you. Now I'm hearing a voice from the other room, and he's getting called away from his creation. And so let me listen to that voice. Okay, so it's definitely Pinocchio vibes that are going in now because now there is a Jiminy Cricket figure that comes. Now, I am unique when I do channel through these information. My guides do love to use storytelling and imagery and symbology in my messages. And so hopefully this helps with your visualizing too. But Jiminy the Cricket really is your consciousness, and let your consciousness be your guide. So this is what is happening. Like our consciousness, like our true consciousness is what is being purified in this now moment into this higher level of consciousness that is actually true is the word they're giving me. True, actual truth. And this is free from the mental war that we've been under with the brainwashing tactics through media, through our food, through all of these tactics that have been used, are being cleared from our field right now. So we can access our consciousness and let our consciousness be our guide. So now everybody is being assigned their own Jiminy Cricket. And so, in whatever form right now, and see if you can visualize and feel into your cricket. And maybe it's going to be a cricket, or maybe it's going to be a different animal. But basically, I'm seeing like this animal and cricket that's coming. And for me, it's on my right side. So please notice in this moment what side this voice is on, because they're also showing me now the parable of two wolves and how one side is telling you one thing and then the other side is telling you the other. But what side is true? The truth is not always the loudest. The truth is not always the loudest. In fact, it's often the quieter voice, which is when it becomes important to take moments of stillness to really listen to that still small voice. That's the message. And that's actually a pretty important message because they're reminding me of a prayer too, going back to that spitting king cobra versus the brown recluse, and how, like, if you are aware of the ascended masters and the goddesses and different energies, it would be like Kali versus Kuan Yin, not those two particularly, but like their energies are much different. Kali has all the aspects, but she's most known for her like wrathful aspect, right? And so often I'm like, ah, if you see me with my tongue out, I'm like, ah, Kali. But I was like, I could have that and I could have that fire and I could have that rage and I could have that expression of frustration. But using a lot of fire and using a lot of rage is beautiful, and rage is sacred. And oh my goodness, and expressing it is sacred and all the above, but it does wear you out. And I know a lot of times in my journey, I was having the prayer that I was like, man, why can't I be more like Kuan Yin? And it reminds me of like motherhood, right? Like, why do we have to yell to be heard? Why do we have to yell to be loud? And this is what's coming up for clearing right now is allowing that softness to be heard, and that it doesn't have to be loud and aggressive. In fact, those that are the loudest and most aggressive, it doesn't make it true, but they're often disguised as the leaders. They're often disguised, like the loudest one is like the one that has historically watching appeared that they've gotten their way and not um uh, and this is a reminder to the permission that you don't have to be the loudest to be heard. And that is a huge block, huge block that's coming up for clearing now. So if you do wish to receive this, I'm just um, going to be presenting the violet flame and asking this to clear, going backwards and forwards through all space and time. But also remembering that even within your own consciousness, it's not going to be the loudest. So, not just the outside world and distractions, but even within yourself. Um, this is a reminder to listen to the still small voice within and let your consciousness be your guide. And so right now, just energetically, I feel a lot of fear that is arising from the heart chakra center. And so I'm just going to be breathing into the heart space and allowing this energy of fear to clear. And I'm just going to now feel into this fear to identify what this fear is of. And immediately I heard the word power. This is fear of our power. And it's clearing, it's addressing the thought form that we have to be aggressive to be heard. So this is an invitation to reflect on your life if that belief system has impacted you in any way. And if you have felt like the only way that you can be seen or heard is if you completely just go bonkers or get really loud or exert energy that feels yucky to you, because that's the only way that has been working. And for a long time, that has. And now that we have identified that, we're going to be able to clear this from the records. So I'm asking that this is cleared from the very beginning of formation, going backwards and forwards through all space and time until completion. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is. And in doing so, now deciding with your free will what you want to fill that belief system in with. So you don't have to be aggressive to be heard. Your energy is strong enough without any words at all to maintain these boundaries. And just let that settle in. And be aware that now that this block has been cleared, life is going to give you opportunity to solidify this by the choices that you make. Because you can now remember this conversation and choose how you want to respond and react, which will also take trust that a different way is possible. And as you begin to follow that and listen more, it builds, it gets stronger, and it gets louder. So, the number one way to build your intuition and to hear that still small voice is to act on it. So act on the softer side is the message. That's the invitation, is to take moments of stillness all week long this week. And when you hear those really loud noises that are just distractions and blah, 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 how can you quiet that and listen so you can hear what's going on underneath? And once you give yourself the time to really listen to that, act on this, act on this, act on the messages that you're hearing in the softness, the more, the quieter, this more silent side. And the more that you do that, and the more that you take the time to listen to the softer side, and the more that you act on your intuition from what you hear in those moments, is how you're going to get that muscle to grow. That's how you're going to start building new pathways in your brain. And this is where a new opportunity is going to unfold for you to have a more peaceful mind with more mental clarity and with pure consciousness, free of war consciousness. And what would happen if we all freed ourselves of war consciousness and our world found peace? So that message feels pretty complete. And that does feel like that is the only block that is meant to be cleared in this now time. So I'm just going to scan the field again. So I'm just going to close my eyes here and tune in and see what other messages come forth for us today. And I am so I'm being gravitated to the mask behind me, and so that is the mask of the dark, um, Star Wars, the white side, and so um, Odin is coming forth, which is a Nordic god, the All Father, and he has legend that he lost his right eye hanging from the tree of wisdom to gain all the wisdom and knowledge. And so he's an all-knowing father. But he has lots of legends with war consciousness, and his counterpart is Freya. And Freya is also the goddess of love and war. And he is stepping forth as a guide to help clear away mind control. And he has appeared to me as like Darth Vader. So that's why they're showing me this vision. So just take that as what it is. Some of these messages are going to be how I visualize them, and it will be you to interpret it however it is fit for you. And this is definitely one of those examples because to some, these are just archetypal figures that help understand the message of the all one, and some take them more literally. I tend to take them more symbolically. Let your intuition be your guide. But I'm going to tune in to Odin and Freya's energy right now, and they have are clearing right now because I could feel that going through my body, but I'm going to tune in and see if they have a message. And the message is taking the mask off. That's why that's the mask behind that's the mask behind me. So it's that permission to unmask what is not true, the facade that you're under, the what you've put on for your protection is safe to like take off to become more of your authentic self. And that's going to free you from the battle from within, because what you really want is to be yourself. And everything that you're masking is what is putting you at war with yourself. And this is your life. This is your life to live and be your best version of yourself. And it does not matter who else or whatever else. This is not about people pleasing. This is not about what you're supposed to do. This is not about any social norms. The message is that every time that you are masking what you truly desire, what you truly believe, what you truly want, is creating that battle. And so to not be at battle with yourself is to be honest and true with who and what you want to be. And this is when it could get really radical. And I could really go into there's no such thing as sin and why, but we're not going to because we don't have enough time for today. But if you do follow that at all, run with that, take it deeper. Ask me later. Maybe this is something you might want to go deeper into. But the message again is the more authentic and honest you are being about what you want, not what anybody else around you wants, not about any outside things or factors or relationships or anything going on. What is it that you want? What is it that you feel? What is your instinct saying? What's your body saying? And answering that without masking any of it is the fastest way to eliminate the war consciousness from your mental body and your mental system. So that's a beautiful message. So I'm going to thank Odin and Freya for that message. And we have a few more minutes here, so I'm just going to see, but I think this is pretty much closing up now. Yeah, that feels pretty complete. So I'm just going to now just close the records. So I'm going to thank the guides, guardians, helpers, and angels and all that have been part of this experience here today, knowing that the healing and intentions that have been part of our work today will continue to unfold to completion. Calling back into existence the door between the worlds, the Akashic Records are now closed. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is. And now visualizing that golden grid flower of life coming back into your heart space and the actual door closing shut. Thank you. Thank you so much for being a part of this today. I want to hone back in on the messages that received, turn back into like Giuseppe's energy of getting into that flow stream of consciousness that's free of distractions, tuning you into being a co-creator and bringing through creations from your pure imagination. Tuning in to the spirit guide that has been assigned to you. Maybe it is Jiminy the Cricket. Maybe it appeared to you as something else. Remembering what side that voice is coming from. Mine was on my right hand side. Yours might be different. But tuning into that energy and that reminder and that voice, and remind as a reminder to, for a time being, as this clears, to listen to that softer voice, not the loud one that's yelling, but listen to the softer one that's harder to hear as you develop the pathways and access point to be able to hear that clearer and louder as you listen, follow, and act on what that softer voice is saying, which will also allow you to be softer in your real life and with those around you. We cleared, what did we clear? We cleared the belief that we had to be loud and aggressive to be heard. So this will give you the invitation as the next time you're in a situation to decide and discover if there is another solution besides getting loud that's actually going to get your voice heard. And I would love to hear follow up on this. So I hope you're on our Pharaoh Foundation Facebook group where you are free to comment and let me know what you received from these messages and how it is going for you as these initiations start coming to take place. And then the last message that we had was from Odin and Freya. And that was to take your mask off, to really follow your true desires, your true heart, what you truly want, who you truly are, who you want to be, what you are, what you want, what you already innately know within yourself, and allow that to be your voice of reason instead of any outside influences, noises, relationships, factors that want to sway you otherwise, because that is what's causing that war. And so by honoring yourself and without masking your uniqueness, you will be clearing the war consciousness within you, which will also be clearing it from your whole reality. And as you change your reality and reality shifts around you, and as we all shift out of this war consciousness together, we're going to be surrounded by more and more peace until all only peace exists. And you'll be a huge player in that, which is the most rebellious thing you can do. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. If you are still here and you have stayed to completion, I love you and I honor you. It is a blessing to be in this container with you. And I hope you have received a lot out of it today. And I would love to hear your shares in our Facebook group, Farah Foundation, where we are in a collaboration doing some really big things right now, including building a 13 glass sculpture representing your ego and embodying all this merging of wholeness in ourselves as we accept all of ourselves and all of the pieces to become our whole authentic self so we could be who we came here to be. Thank you. I love you. In Lakesh, I am you. You are me. We are one.